Hey, hey, hey. We're going to get started pretty soon. We're early, going to do some sound checks. And glad that some of our OGs are already here. This is great. Hopefully, this time works good for everybody. Give us a thumbs up if this is a great time for some X Spaces. It's always a good time for X Spaces, right? You can listen in your bed while you're lying down. You can listen at the coffee shop. You can listen while your wife is yelling at you. You can do spaces anywhere. So this is part of our outreach. We're going to start up in our game because we're going to make some noise. We deserve to have a lot more users knowing about Mask because we're on the up. We're going to release a lot of amazing stuff this month. And of course, we want people to know about it, especially in the base ecosystem. But we are really close friends with Send and the Send team, especially Ethan. He's my boy. So he's fashionably late, but that's also because I started early. I did tell him to start early with me. So we'll give a few minutes for lots of people to join in. Love all of your Send tags, ladies and gentlemen, in the crowd. I see some. I'm an avid Sender as well from day one. Actually, some of the stuff me and Ethan cooked up from the shadows together way back. So maybe I'll pick some people out of the crowd and tip them some Send once we're done with this space. But got some cool stuff today. So, okay, here we go. We got Send in here, official account. Making you the co-host, buddy. Whoever's behind that. Yeah, well, actually, we'll get our other accounts in here too, won't we? All right. All right, I think you guys are on speaker now. Give us a holler.
Yo, yo, yo. What's up, baby boy?
There he is.
What's up, dog? What's cracking? Happy holidays, motherfucker.
Nah, man, I got some grinding to do, bro. It's not the holidays yet, man. I'll take a break when Mask is $1 or more, and that's going to happen.
I didn't ask you to take a break, bro. I just said fucking happy holidays, bro. What the fuck?
There ain't no holidays yet. You got to earn these holidays.
You got to earn them? You got to earn this shit.
I will say the scam pumps that are happening in these Dino coins have helped me pay for some Christmas presents. That's been nice.
Oh, man. What do they say? Whenever anybody says that, they say, it's all a scam. Fucking.
Oh, man. You know XRP's going to rip when your brother calls you and he's like, bro, XRP's going to go to $100. You should buy some. And I'm like, really? Okay. And then I'll leverage play that shit like 200x.
That's all they've been talking about in this one chat, when to front run. They've been saying XRP volume is fucking mental.
Well, and then I took the opportunity to try and onboard him to Send. I was like, well, hey, can you tip people XRP? And he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, bro, there's this app out there called Send. It's Cash App for Ethereum. And you can just tip people whenever you want. Here you go. And I set him up. So you see, it's opportunity.
Yeah, Send is pretty... I don't know. Like, why hasn't anybody done that? Like, we have in our bio, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And it really is just the essence of crypto. It's literally sending, send back and forth. I mean, what more do you want, But we actually have some interesting developments. We've been trying to get a hold of the guys from Full Send and from the Nelk Boys. And so the guy, John, the president, John Shahidi, is one of the founders of Happy Dad as well. So he, a few weeks back, maybe actually it's probably been a month now, he put out a post and he said, what should we accept for Full Send merch? And then we fucking pounded his DMs. The Send army came and just fucking hit him hard, dude. And then he followed us. And then I messaged him from the account and he messaged back. And then last week or a few days ago, I sent him another message and I said, hey, I emailed you guys on Full Send and haven't heard back. And he's all, yeah, I don't get those. And then he sent me his email. So we got his email. I emailed him yesterday. He got back to me literally like an hour later. And he said, what did he say? He said, I put it in the chat. He said, what did he say? He said, give me a few weeks to get back to you. Very interested. So I think this is
Nice.
going to be a good catalyst for us because obviously the brand Full Send and Send makes sense, and those guys are super sharp with distribution.
Well, I showed you I've got those protein cups that are say full send on it, so I take those to the gym when I'm full sending in the gym.
Yeah, so that's his brand. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's awesome, man. Well, tell him I'm already a fan. He sends me some merch, bro. I'll help him out as well.
All right, I'll let him know, bro.
Yeah, man. But hey, this is the first base station spaces. We're gonna grow this thing, me and Ethan. Ethan knows how to grow community better than almost anyone I know in the crypto space, and I'm honored to have him here co-hosting with us from the Send account. So in a way, we're sort of co-sponsoring the space, and we want to foster the base ecosystem, users who are interested in utility projects. You see, we've just had this meme wave. That's great. People can make some degen crazy money. Cool. Put them back into utility projects where they're going to actually give you some really cool apps and some like actual benefits to your daily life, right? So we're going to go about an hour. We're going to try and do the same time every week. Me and Ethan, we're going to invite guests, and we're going to talk about base, our apps, of course, and also how we grow the space together, because a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So we've got to build this shit together and make people use what we're building, because what we have is valuable.
Damn straight, baby.
Yeah. So not to ignore our guest here too. Sorry, D-Hub. We got D-Hub here, who's built some awesome stuff, man. Give us a little intro about what you guys do, and then we'll do a intro round.
Of course. Hey guys, pleasure to meet you all. Thanks for having us on the first episode of the Spaces. Look forward to many more, hopefully, in the future. So to give you guys a little background about D-Hub, I've been here since 2020, building publicly, launched officially in 2021, and we're building a gaming and streaming protocol powered by our own Deepin of shared computing power. This gives us truly censorship resistant data hosting, transcoding and delivery, but also limitless scalability. And our team's made up of social media experts already, including Mike Hales, my co-founder, who owns the UK's biggest TikTok partner agency. We've got about 1,000 streamers on our books now, including the #1 TikTok gamer in the world, as well as some big names like Bevo, who you guys might know if you're on TikTok, and all of those parents on board onto our app, D-Hub, that we're pretty much finished building now. So if you go check us out, dhub.io, we're in test beta, nearly 90% of the features all live. And we're estimated to start building or to complete the core development roadmap by the end of Q1. So lots going on there, and we're definitely in the right position to kind of onboard like the Web 2 world for our existing network. But we are also building the world's first MMA battle royale, and we've got game devs from Ubisoft, Diablo, GTA involved, and some big memes invested, including some big ones on base. They're going to be getting their own skin in the game. So lots of cross promotions kicking off soon as well with that. Loads going on here. So check us out, guys. If you go to the highlights on our profile, D-Hub, you'll see the trailer for the game. It's a little teaser. The first one just released. And yeah, it's pretty damn good. So check it out. And if you want to search me as well, I'm mal.eth. I'm the founder of D-Hub, mal.eth. You can give me a follow. That'll be awesome. I'm sure I'll join in future as well from that profile.
Amazing. That's awesome. Awesome.
I want to ask you a question. I came to your page, and then I went to your site, and I'm like, damn, this looks familiar, right? Because you just came on my radar because of Mask and this whole little co-host thing. So, are you guys funded or no?
Yeah, so we are self-funded. I made a lot of money in crypto before I launched D-Hub. I was publicly calling ETH from $80, even on my business page, putting all of our reserves in way back during the March 2020 crash. So I'm self-funded, and my co-founder Mike as well, his agency is #1 in the UK, so he's doing about $20,000-$30,000 a month in revenue. So after taxes is still pretty nice. So yeah, we're entirely self-funded. We've never had any VCs involved in building D-Hub. We made over $1 million in revenue, on-chain verifiable revenue in our first year, which we also used to reinvest in the protocol and build out the roadmap, where a lot of people obviously promised and said, "Oh, we're going to build this," but not maybe not always their fault, but never quite did. We were committed, and we've pretty much got there now. Complete the roadmap. So So yeah, self-funded, but got a decent treasury. But we've also launched a partner project called BJ, so the adult version of DHub, and we've raised over $1 million for that this year as well. So yeah, decent treasury, good war chest, big network, ready to onboard. We're just trying to do it right, as opposed to rush everything and fall at the first hurdle.
That's how we say
Mad
it.
respect.
We say left foot, right foot at Send as well. Yeah, mad respect for that. So let me go with this, and then we'll go on to Kyrie at a mask. So you came on my radar a few days ago because I've been following Dracula and kind of their progress, right? They're funded by Paradigm for $7.6 million. So they launched this video coins, which I don't think is good. And I don't mean to come in here. We don't want to bring negativity, but I'm just giving my insight, right? It's important that we give insight on projects, and everybody is free to give their own opinion, right? I don't think video coins are that novel, to be honest with you. I've been watching it.
Yeah,
I've been watching kind of what they've been pivoting to, or most of it is trading. You have all these apps that have been coming out, and it's meme coin trading. You only need so many apps for meme coin trading, right? So I'm curious to hear your thoughts, because I saw a lot of your DHub community inside, the replies and saying, DHub's been here since 2020 and kind of just pounding on it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so look, first of all, respect to Alex and what he's built there. I did see some of the comments, and I don't really like it when our community attack and try and insult and abuse other communities, although they are very passionate, and we've been here for a long time, so we've built up a very strong loyalist base of OGs. But I do prefer to learn from different projects and try and improve certain aspects to what we've done in order to compete, as opposed to just attack. But I obviously agree with you. I don't think it's such a novel idea to that degree, but I don't think video is like the key coin to their protocol. I think they're going to release another token, the official Dracula token. I think video is just like an example meme of their first ever explainer video, which obviously, it's a nice concept, but like you said, the meme industry is already saturated as it is, and on Pump Fund, you've already got video and streaming. So, I don't see a huge difference, and I don't really see any kind of long-term sustainability there. What we're focused on building here, and what we have done since launch, is something truly innovative where you can actually disrupt this industry. I think a lot of people don't realize, and I believe Alex is going to start to learn this as he's hosting more data, is the sheer cost of actually disrupting the streaming sector. If you look at YouTube scale especially, they're still paying for data they uploaded 20 years ago, and that compounds every year. And the sheer cost of this means that Twitch has never turned in a profit. It's a loss leader for Amazon, and there's rumors that they're going to shut it down soon. YouTube's profitability isn't shared either. We don't know. Nobody knows how much actual profit YouTube makes. And no one, and if you look at Kick as well, they've just launched a disrupt the sector and had minus $5 billion in the first year already. They're backed by billionaires again. So unless you've got a $1 billion bankroll, true innovation, this is such a hard industry to disrupt as a whole. But I generally wish the best for Dracula. If they do find their product market fit in memes and that casino kind of aspect, then great. That's just not what we're going for. I don't really see them as competition, though. So yeah, it is.
I think I agree with your point. I agree with your point that I wish them well. Hope they turn out. The problem is that when investors are looking at tokens and they see a founder say, "Hey, this is the video token," they think that it is the direct token of Dracula. And when you go to the page,
he cocked up there for sure, because he's even said there's no utility at all for the video token.
But he said that.
That's what his lawyers told him to say, bro. His lawyers told him to say that.
Well, I'm just, again, we're not here to attack, but we need to get the facts correct. The community's looking for you for leadership. They're looking for guidance. And if you go to the video pay or the video token on Dex Screener, it goes directly to Dracula. It links directly to them. If you go to their X page, it says buy video below. I mean, they've been pumping it, and then they come out with another token, which obviously died, right? But you're just extracting value out of the market, and eventually it goes up and it comes down. And I don't know. I just don't think that's the right approach. And I wish them well. I wish everybody well. Hopefully, we're all going to succeed. Like you said, rising tide lifts all boats. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's the right approach to it. For people to think. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like Musk said, I believe that it's the lawyers and the VCs that have kind of screwed that for him. I was watching the whole thing unfold, right? After the launch, you can tell he came out and he went 180. And I think what happened was, if we're honest, he launched a token, it went really super successful, got viral, and then the VC's like, hey, what's going on? Where's our where's our allocation? Fuck this, or we're pulling the funding, say something, do something. And he's kind of bent the knee a little bit because he has to. But if we look at Paradigm, what was the last social fi that they funded on base? It was Friendtech, right? And they abandoned that and they let that rug. So I haven't got high hopes for anything Paradigm Touch, to be honest, or any VCs I've met in this industry, if we're going to be frank. I'm all about what what crypto allowed is for people who are, truly innovative and we're ahead of the curve to build a lot of wealth. And I think I wouldn't invest in something personally, unless I knew the founders were here for a long time. They built decent wealth in crypto. They've got successful businesses off chain. They can fund themselves because the VCs are all just here to extract, as you mentioned as well. So few are here to actually add value. Most are just here to extract. And especially what we see now with Hyperliquid, how that amazing launch went. Now the tide shift and general consensus is going against VCs, and I'm here for it. And I wish it was here. This happened 4 years ago, where back then it was, unless you got a VC, we're not investing. I'm following smart money. They don't realize that's just people there for the slaughter for them. So yeah, it is a shame how that went, because if they did absolutely smash it and run to hundreds of millions or even billions, then that would have brought a lot of attention to D-Hub as well. So I was rooting for him. And I was telling our community, hey guys, stop fudding. This helps us. It's all the attention that's coming into video apps. We need that. So all success is good success in my eyes, and all publicity is good publicity. So don't stop, guys. If you are flying a D-Hub flag, do what you please.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I think that's something we actually all three have in common, really. I mean, mad respect again for being bootstrapped. We did the same in Mask. We have no VC, no investors, VC or angel backers. Same with Send. I was there in day one with Send and Ethan. And, it's just community grown. So, what you said holds true. People get rinsed and repeated so many times. And I guess you just want to look at what's going on or what's funding it, because they all the VCs, they want to get paid, bro. They're not a charity, and the users have to pay some way or another, right? So the token aspect is really important, but of course that's, like you said, that's the mechanism that's allowing I'm an average Joe, but average Joe is not saying it in a bad way, but just saying there's shitloads of us. Average Joes have a chance at making, some life-changing wealth by being an early adopter, not the VC who spots that idea early in the Shark Tank and then drops a whole bunch of their generational wealth into it and makes money on the back of the users. Like, the users can be the whole life cycle of the app. And that's why I think what you guys and what we're doing is really important, right? Sure, there's a place for them. Building infra, or maybe they projects do need backing and funding, fine. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that's supporting that. And you're right, Hyperliquid, that made some people millionaires overnight. And they did the opposite, the low FDV, high float. And actually they did basically 100% float, really. 60% of the whole entire supply to the users. So, if it's well distributed, there's a lot of success, especially when the network effect builds up. Any more comments on that, Ethan? I know you were asking about that quite a lot with Dracula and stuff, which is one of Base's main apps.
I want to talk about, because we've been, what I've been looking into myself. So we at Send, we're giving 30% of the token back to the community through rewards. And I've been reading a lot from Chris Dixon and about token incentives and how that kind of drives the product growth before you have a lot of utility. So, the incentives are early on, and that's why people come to the product, because of the financial incentives, while you continue to build out the utility of the product. Can you tell me about any financial incentives currently with D-Hub and how you're kind of managing getting the token into circulation?
Yeah, definitely. So when we first launched, we burnt half a supply, first of all, to have a deflationary mechanism whereby the burn wallet was always absorbing the rewards as well as the holders. And we have a 100% profit staking revenue share. So all the stakers in D-Hub, they they take all the profit that comes from all the revenue that we generate, of course. So, you know, in time as well, although it had its peaks in the last bull run, you know, there was one week where we had incredibly high trading volume. You know, we had around $500,000 worth of rewards in the space of, you know, 2 weeks distributed to holders. And overall, over the course since we've launched, obviously volume comes and goes, it's up and down, but it's rewarded many. But to counteract that as well, we've also, all the partner projects that we've had in our ecosystem, we've given airdrops to our community. So the one I mentioned earlier, you know, the adult version D-Hub, everyone got a one-to-one airdrop when we launched that, based on their holdings staked at the time that we announced the launch. So it was like a double reward. And that was at the bottom of the bear market as well. So, you know, that definitely helps. I believe any more incentive that you try and give, it always comes from either dilution or inflation. And where we've been around for such a long time, we're fully diluted. We have no more tokens to you know, really incentivize or reward our community with. It all has to come from the revenue we generate now through the utility that we've built, and all partner airdrops. You know, the different projects that we have coming up through our ecosystem. You know, some of our biggest investors, when they launch projects, they like to reward the community, because, you know, we hit 250 mil, 500 mil fully diluted valuation at peak. So half our supply is burnt. So 250 just to circulating supply, market cap, fully diluted around 500 million. So there was a lot of wealth with our holders, and some of our biggest whales. If you go on DealBio, you can see the leaderboard. You can verify all of this as well. It's on the right side of the app. You know, some of our biggest whales had like tens of millions of dollars worth, and we didn't sell anything. And, you know, it was a near 1000x we did. So yeah, like it was definitely rewarding at peak, and I do believe financial incentives are great for the community, but unless they come in eventually, of course, because at the beginning you've always got a nice supply dilute, but after that, you know, and really, if you want true sustainability, it's got to come from you know, the real revenue, the tangible stuff that you take in. Otherwise, it's just gonna, although you're rewarding people, it's just coming out of their own pocket, right? And I think that's an issue with a lot of protocols. I think staking itself is going to change entirely, because, you know, high APYs are fantastic, but like, where is that coming from? It's coming from you. So although you're getting, you the holders, I mean, although you're getting extra, you know, 10% yield, that your supply is diluting 10% extra as well. So it's a very hard, fine balance, but we found a lot of success with sharing the protocol fees with holders, and that's kept guys, because a lot of people didn't have to sell throughout the last bull run because they made so much money from staking rewards, which is great. You know, that's great. It's a great situation to be in for everybody.
Yeah, amazing, man. Good to hear. Good to hear. You know, you guys are doing a holistic approach to it as well. And I love what you said early on. You said you've built it as a censorship resistant streaming network, and that holds close to my heart too with Mask. You know, because we built basically a decentralized peer network, and you know, just to give any listeners who are new a little bit about Mask, we've been running 5 years now. This October that just passed was our 5-year anniversary. Again, bootstrapped, you know, community started. We didn't get any funding, and we didn't even do an ICO. We airdropped a lot of our tokens early on, and we're 96 or 95% circulating. And so we've got our apps out live. You know, we've got a browser app. Our core software is open source, and anyone can use it and basically browse and pay other servers, you know, in a decentralized network to privatize your life, privatize your traffic. And we've got a lot we're gonna push out finally. It's been a little while, you know, getting everything right, fine-tuning it all, but we firmly believed that Base was a massive opportunity, a massive catalyst of growth. And just looking at the TVL, I don't know if you checked it out before the chat, Ethan, as well, but I mean, Base has overtaken Arbitrum, and Arbitrum is like essentially been like the DeFi roll up for a long time. That was their core use case. You look at, you know, Hyperliquid starting out on Arb as well, Arbitrum, but they've got like $3.7 billion TVL right now, and Arbitrum's at 3.2. So they've really taken a lead now. And so if you want to see where the users are coming in and where they're parking their money and spending money, it's definitely Base in terms of rollups, and not looking at moats that have been built on other chains and stuff. it's pretty amazing to see. So we're all in the right place, obviously. But maybe we can talk about how we're going to leverage the incoming new users to crypto, onboarding into Base and Coinbase. How we're going to make this our technology exciting for them to use.
So,
It is about utility.
Related to the topic, funny enough, you guys saw Jesse's tweet the other day, right? I believe it was yesterday. There's definitely a Base token coming after what he said. He didn't say it wasn't coming, which in crypto he means it's coming. And he complimented how Hyperliquid built their ecosystem before a token, or emphasis on before a token. So a Base token is coming, guys. I've said this for a long time. Our community will vouch.
Where did he say that? I think the last tweet he put out was, we don't have any plans for a token.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I saw him deny it. So I don't know. Maybe I misread the cryptic stuff.
Yeah, of course. You got to read through the lines. It's a crypto, guys. But yeah, what he said was, we don't have any plans for a token. So it's like, look, guys, if you're the SEC, if you're the Feds, just we didn't plan for this. It's just going to happen naturally, as we need a token. That's one. But he also replied to Borovic and said, when he asked, so are you going to have a token? No, he didn't say no. He had a big, long essayed reply, but he didn't say no. He was talking about why you should build first before a token, but he didn't say it wasn't coming. And then on top of that, he made a separate tweet complimenting Hyperliquid and how he said, the ethos is the same here, and it's so important to build the tech before a token. So he's pretty much in 3 tweets said a token's coming, everyone. So I don't think it's if, I think it's when. That's the real question, and how to get maximum value. Is it just trading Base tokens? Is there certain protocols you have to use? So that's what I'm looking into currently. But yeah, the token's definitely coming. If you check his tweets, like he hasn't denied it, and it's just like the standard legal jargon that's coming out with a few hints.
Yeah, but you got to understand too, is Base does have a token, and that token is called Coin.
Well, that's a stock.
And first and foremost,
that's a stock, right? So
yeah, it's still a token. I mean, that's they have a first and foremost, the shareholders come first.
Yeah,
right?
for a stock for Coinbase. Base is separate. Base is a separate ecosystem. Base is a decentralized chain built by Jesse. So he was a creator.
Base is not really, but Base feeds up revenue to Coin. So they're going to take that revenue and give it to what? To token holders?
I don't imagine they would do that. No, I don't think it's going to be like a revenue share token. I think it's going to be some sort of governance token for the Base ecosystem. But he hasn't denied it, right? He was asked outright.
Yeah.
Is it coming? And he didn't say no.
What would be the craziest thing is if somehow this whole Trump wave of regime change does usher in a more openly friendly SEC and all the shit that they did with Choke Point 2.0. This is actually an opportunity, if what your theory is right about them trying to do a token, they could essentially decentralized governance airdrop Coin shareholders and actually do an orchestrated drop through an actual security and have people own a decentralized network through that. And if that happened, that'd be a world first.
It could.
How crazy would that be?
I think they are planning it. If you look back throughout all their communications, they've never once denied a token's coming. They said we have no plans for it, but they've never once denied it's coming. And that the way he complimented Hyperliquid and said this is exactly how we're building a Base, how it's so important to build the infrastructure before a token. That was the giveaway for me. But look, our community will vouch. Nearly a year ago, we were on Spaces saying when Base first launched at the start of this year, we were here and we first migrated to Base. We said it's coming. I've spoken to some people well in the know in Base for a long time, and they all pretty much hinted that it's coming as well way back. And I was out here probably putting my neck on the line for the community saying that it's coming too. So yeah, I think if we really look at his tweets, it's definite now. If there should be a what's that prediction market on Poly? There should be a Poly market thing for this by now. I'm going to check out and update you guys in the group chat.
Yeah, there could be some betting on that, but I mean, yeah, I do think you both have some merit in that. I'm sort of in the middle. I think Jesse's playing it sort of savvy, where he's trying to just keep it open, so no one can go back and say, "Oh, you said there would never be one," and because obviously it's permissionless. You're right. Like I guess if their governance model allows proposals, which it does, technically they could pass a vote and do it, and then Coinbase can sit there on the sideline and say, "Hey, we don't control Base. It's it's governance modeled so by stakers and all the stuff, the users. So we didn't do it, but again." Ethan's point, shareholders come first, when you've got a publicly traded company. So whether or not they can somehow veto that or, get involved or get airdropped, we'll see how that pans out,
That's going to be launched by the end of the day. Will Base Network launch a token in 2025? Or yeah, well, I'm telling you, I'm gonna launch it. If someone doesn't do it, I'm gonna.
I'll tell you though, there is a meme coin on Base called Base, so don't rush and buy that. I mean, that is a way to speculate, but just don't do that because there is one that's about a year old. It's just, I don't think that's the one though.
No, I do think they are going to call it Base because it will just work so nicely. They've got coin, their stock, and then they've got Base, their coin or their token. I think it's going to. And do you know what else as well? I'm not sure if anybody knows this, but Brian Armstrong himself has a token. It's called Research Hub, and he's literally the co-founder and CEO. Right. So they're not shy to making a token. And can you believe it was at like 300K market cap just 2 years ago, or just sitting on Ethereum? I couldn't believe it personally. I mean, that's pretty crazy. No one gave me that alpha either. One of our holders told me recently. Some of our guys are quite invested in it, but yeah, I wish I knew that before it hit 8 million for sure.
Oh wow, that's crazy, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, it was running. It ran around this time last year, pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, look, it shows the opportunity around. There's so much growth that's happening. We haven't even really hit the euphoric stage, of the market. Really, when you look at historical trends, whether or not we'll just repeat a similar cycle, who knows, right? Anyone can be the crystal ball reader, but here we are building apps that people can use every day, right? Like 90% of what you see pumping and dumping and people taking value extraction by all different methods. None of them have a product. They have an idea, they have a vision, or they may have maybe a prototype, but they don't. Not a lot of them have real working products. So to be honest, us three sitting here talking about our tech are this is one of probably the most active product forums in a space that most spaces have in the crypto world right now, because anyone listening can go online right now, create a send account, tip your friends, send crypto to each other with a few taps. You can hop on maskbrowser.com, you can download our browser, you can surf privately, hide your IP, access sites you can't get to, and you can hop onto DHub, you can stream, you can join their DePIN economy, you can help censorship-resistant streaming, and make content. That's pretty awesome. Like, how many spaces have that going on, right?
Yeah, and you'd think that after all these years there'd be so much more product, but we are still just so early in crypto, and that it's evident when you see still IDOs and new launches coming in, and then there's not much built all the time. So yeah, I mean, we're definitely unique, guys. Absolutely.
Yeah.
DHubs. Well, I want to ask you a question. You guys bring in revenue?
Yeah, so since we launched, all of our revenues either come from trading fees across different pools, our NFT and digital marketplace, and we have a fee for tips, subscriptions, and all the services on the app. There's a 10% developer fee for currently, but it's not been huge. Although we made over $1 million in the first year, the majority of that was from trading fees, right? Which is, again, is great. Like one of the reasons crypto is so wonderful, and products do make successes. People love trading, and that's great revenue for any protocol. But we haven't finished the development roadmap yet. It's scheduled, this roadmap to finish by the end of Q1 2025, and that's when we're going to be hopefully profitable.
Nice.
Love to see that. One question: How come and how are you dealing with this? Because being self-funded is obviously extremely hard. How come the liquidity is so low? I'm looking at the liquidity on Base for DHub, and it's only 24K of pooled Ethereum.
Yeah,
on the Ethereum.
we've got multiple pools. So there's one on Ethereum as well, one on Base. But we have around $500,000 of liquidity that got locked on BNB as well, because our old contract got clogged. So when we lost that, we didn't want to put too much more liquidity into the pool, and we agreed to keep it a bit light because we're going to be injecting a lot more capital too. So currently we are a little bit low on liquidity, but at the same time we physically don't have any more tokens to dilute, so we couldn't add too much more anyway. But the community all agree it is. It's much easier to, without sounding like a moon boy or the generator, it's much easier to pump our bags with lower liquidity, and we are at the bottom of a multi-year bottom price range that we haven't broken. So we were at lower price 2 years ago, to give you an example. So the liquidity that is there is sufficient for our size, and as we grow, we are going to inject more because our tokens will be worth more as well. So we can inject more liquidity into the pool. But losing that $500,000 on the BNB pool, it did knock us, because that was our core liquidity hub.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. Again, kudos to you for trying to manage all of this, because you're building, you have a token. People don't understand kind of the stresses that come with the token and getting stuff into circulation, and then managing liquidity pools. So kudos to you, man, for managing all this.
Oh man,
No,
treasury management is a full-time thing. Treasury management is like having another child.
No, it is indeed, and we're quite lucky as well, because all of our co-founders all have successful businesses off chain. So if you check out, our team in the white paper, and we're all pretty public, we all have big social profiles, and you can see what we've been up to and what we do. So like I mentioned earlier, my co-founder's AC. He's doing on average 20 to 30K revenue a month, and he's very committed to DHub. All of his network that he's building, he's bringing onto DHub. So we're quite well funded in that aspect, and our runway, our churn is only about 8 to 10,000 a month. So we're pretty healthy for sure, and we could keep this just based on our revenue from off-chain businesses. We could keep building this forever. It's our passion project. It's what me and Mike have done. It's how we met. We were gamers and streams when we first met together all those years ago. So it's kind of our passion project. It's our baby. We're just going to build it forever until it's where we want it to be.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And actually, one question I had was, I know you probably look at your user growth. What's your user growth been for the second half of this year so far? Because that's really when Base has blown up. Have you noticed that that's correlated a lot to your user growth as well?
Yeah, definitely. And on top of that as well, holders has increased since we went on Base. We picked up, we're around about 500 holders on Base now. And we, overall, we had about 25,000 throughout the years. So yeah, definitely noticed a spike, absolutely. And regarding, although we've had a spike in registered users, daily active users, it's not going to really be a statistic we can shout about until we finish the core development and actually start onboarding our network. But as I said, if you check out the team, check out who's behind it, if you go on Mike's TikTok and see all the different celebrities and influencers on his agency, you'll see there's big things coming to DHub for sure.
That's awesome, man. We're incubating a TikTok strategy now for Mask, because we know that a lot of people will onboard, not just because it's popular to be, talking about your products, but we know a lot of younger people are looking into doing things for their just general privacy, using VPNs and using things like that. We want to be in those conversations. I might have to tee up a call with you and your co-founder, just pick your brain on some good strategies to help on our TikTok socials. That'd be amazing.
Anytime for sure.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Now, Ethan, tell us about Send, bro. You guys are constantly active. You've incubated communities all around the world, especially in Africa, where a lot of people are unbanked and they need something stable. Like crypto and like peer-to-peer instant. Merchants can use it with low fees. I know you got people selling goods in their shops and using Send. So that's amazing, bro. Tell us about what you've been cooking.
Yeah, man. So, we have 30% set aside for token holders to kind of drive value to the network. And as kind of this early on for us, a lot of people that are coming to the app are there for the financial incentives, and we understand that. So as we continue to build out the utility of the project and the utility of the app, then as the utility goes up, then the incentives will come down. But what we've been kind of just saying is that send is for sending. So they come into the app, they sign up a passkey, and they start sending it. They register a send tag and they just start sending it. Our weekly active users have been growing for 15 consecutive weeks now. I don't know if we're going to beat last week. Currently, last week we had 3,876 returning weekly active users. And if we go back to August of the week of August 12th, we had 142 returning weekly active users. And again, currently we're over 3,800. And currently our daily active users have been hitting about 1,700 on the daily now for about the past 10 days. So it's interesting. I mean, the system seems to work where people come in, they register send tags. They use the referral code of somebody, they get 75% back of the send tag cost. And then, that person, whoever they use the referral code for, is their upline in the project. And then we start sending back and forth. And then, if you're holding 300,000 send, then you can qualify for rewards, right? So it's like kind of like a flywheel, a little bit, it feels like. And it seems to be working. Transactions are up, even though base fees are up. So people are kind of playing the game, and that's kind of what we want. We want to kind of gamify the app, but it seems to be working. This week, we only had, so our new users are kind of slowing down. We had 369 new users last week, 574 the week before, 639 the week before that, and 982 the week before that. So we've been on a downtrend for new users for the past 4 weeks, but returning weekly active users are continuing to go up. So we kind of need a new strategy here to get new people into the system and to get them sending. But, it's just the growing pains.
Yeah, that's right, man. It's hard to keep it like at peaking every time, right? But that's amazing stats, man. Like for a month, what did you say, since August? You've had now, like it's 25 fold of user growth. That's pretty amazing.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Yeah, we've had 16 now. 16 weeks of consecutive returning weekly active users up. We do no knock on Coinbase, but we do Coinbase has their smart wallet, which I think they want to push. If you've seen Brian Armstrong talk about it, he says, there's kind of 4 things for payments, and he says layer 2, he says base, he says, USDC, and then he says smart contract wallets, which is, passkey wallets. And the other one he says is ENS names. So I'm not an ENS maxi myself. I think they play their role in the ecosystem. Frankly, I don't think they've invested in their product. They've made a lot of money, and the product that they have and that they put out is not really given back to the token, but the token goes up because obviously I think they're really good at business development. But if you look at currently Coinbase, their smart wallet, and again, this is not their browser wallet, this is their smart wallet, which is their passkey wallet. It has about 700 returning daily active users. Yesterday, 712, 669. And then last week they had 3,160. No, they had 2,000 returning weekly active users. So we're almost doing double the volume in terms of returning weekly active users than Coinbase.
Wow.
But their numbers are trending up. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to knock Coinbase here. Coinbase is, obviously they're a behemoth and they do a lot for the industry, but it just goes to show you how strong our community is and how strong the product is.
Yeah, that's amazing comparing those numbers. Because it's funny, over the weekend I had some of our neighbors round and they started asking me about crypto, which again, we're heating up if your neighbors start asking you about it because they kind of know I'm into it. I don't tell them anything else. But yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, Bitcoin's doing good, huh? And then they're like, yeah, help me buy some. And in New Zealand, I guess our choices of onboarding, like fiat onboards, are quite limited. So they both had looked on their app store and found Coinbase as like one of the top ones on the list. They tried to download it and literally we could not even with me sitting there, we could not even onboard them to buy Bitcoin with fiat through Coinbase. And then we found the wallet app, which is obviously the smart wallet app. It kept linking you back to the other Coinbase app, and so that whole UX was crazy. I am blown away. They only have 2,000 returning users, but obviously maybe it's still quite new. But it goes to show there's still a lot more to go, man. I mean, we couldn't even finish onboarding guys to buy Bitcoin straight out of the app. So I mean, once that's solved, hey, that wave will just blow up. But yeah, people are still relying on centralized exchanges and stuff. So that's just
You
part
should
of
have taken their fiat. You should have taken their fiat and sold them 1,000,000 SEND. You could have sold them 1,000,000 SEND.
I know. I should have said, "Hey, give me some cash. I'll set you up on the Send app. What name do you want, and we'll get your shit sorted." But once I started talking more apps, they were like, "Oh man, no, I just want to do this one. Like, this is it." I'm like, "Well, obviously it's not working, bro. Like, listen to this. It was telling us to wire USD via Swift into the Singapore account that's assigned to the Coinbase app." I was like, "Bro, what the fuck?" It wouldn't even let me properly do a debit card. I was like, this is not going to work. I was blown away.
Like D-Hub said earlier, that's just, I mean, we really are that early. It still is early,
Yeah. And trying to get people who were having beers. I was like, hey, let's get a laptop out. I know I can sort it if we have a laptop. I'm like, no, I'm just chilling with my beer here, man. I don't want to do all that. It's like, okay, we're still not there. So, hey,
Yeah.
Ethan, any alpha for us for Send?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some alpha right there. What I said earlier with, we've been trying to link up with Full Send. We're also in talks with Zero Hash. So Zero Hash is actually a competitor Bridge. If you guys have been following the stablecoin news recently, Bridge was bought out by Stripe. So I'm in direct contact with the CEO of Zero Hash. Zero Hash is a competitor Bridge. They raised $150 million. We're going to be using Zero Hash for fiat onboarding and offboarding. And we have access to their licensing, their MTL licensing. So at some point, we'll start working on fiat onboarding and offboarding. They may kind of acquire the token a little bit too, because, we have to do the Howey test first. But if you look at the supported assets on Zero Hash, there's only I think there's maybe 65 of them. And all of them are pretty much the big tokens, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, XLM. EOS, I think, is one of them from, back in the heyday. But but all the assets they support are pretty much heavy hitter tokens. So I've been in talk with the CEO and the founder, Edward. He thinks we should do something, but obviously this stuff takes time. And plus people have their own lives and their own businesses that they run. So, and then we have the full. So what I'm trying to do is, what we say is product token community. Token is managing the incentives and understanding how to get that into circulation as the utility goes up. And then community obviously is just kind of holding these spaces and giving them the tools they need to succeed, right? And the support. And then the product is, managing the product and understanding how that goes. But the other part is the marketing. So, because it is a distribution game. No matter how good your tech is, you have to get that out into the world. If nobody, what do they say? If a tree falls and nobody's around to hear it, does it make a sound? So, distribution is something I think I want to focus on a lot on in 2025 with the right people. I think Full Send would kind of be the catalyst for us.
Yeah, nice, man. That's a good strategy. Yeah. Some of our community are like, hey, when are you going to talk more about Mask? I guess I should.
Yeah. Hey, so you got this. I'm curious about, because I used the other product where you download it, and I got to be honest, I didn't use it as much, but I'm curious about this browser extension you guys got, because I know you guys know how to build products. What's up with this browser extension?
Yeah, man. Thanks for asking, because that is something we're nearly done with, actually. So the key there is, we know that some people are very used to their own browser environment. Like, having someone switch a default browser is actually a big ask. I mean, we built the browser out of love, and it's great, and lots of people like it. It is for a more privacy-oriented person. So I've talked about it before, that there's a privacy spectrum of people in the way they use tools, right? You've got people that don't care about privacy at all, and then you've got privacy maxes on the other extreme. And so the browser probably sits in the middle there. The game plan and the strategy with the extension is we're unlocking 4 billion Chrome users first, because obviously we're going to make it for Firefox and other browsers. But that's unlocking 4 billion users across the world that can use Mask and tap into it and join the network and also browse and pay and serve and earn. So that extension's like pretty much done. We're just working out the last kink, because there's a bit of difference in the way an extension works, because extensions are what they would call sandboxed, right? You can't run, calls outside of it. It's very super secure because it's in a browser that's, not a browser you can develop in. But that's pretty much done. And so what we just met on last night with the dev team was securing the premium subscription modeling. And that's going to allow, similar to what our friends here at DHub said, is it's going to allow users to pay for subscriptions to get premium. And we all know that USDC is kind of, the way a lot of people think, the way a lot of people spend on chain. That's going to be linked in as an option, and then it will funnel back through into Mask tokens. There'll be a buyback model, which I haven't talked about, but that's going to become a flywheel for the whole ecosystem. And essentially, that will trigger us to do full send marketing, where we can say, hey, try the browser today. Hop on, get a paid subscription, support the product, support the token, support the community. It all sort of starts from there. So we've got all of our marketing strategies firing up. So we're really close. Hopefully this week as well, we'll release the next version of the browser too, like it is on track. And that's going to put Mask on Base live. Like we are live on there, but the browser isn't live on the testnet yet. So that'll trigger Base testnet. And then, of course, we can say to everyone who is in Base, hey, try it out on Base. And that's a key driver too. So it's all probably going to really come out hard and fast. It's going to be launched, like a lot of the stuff will probably be launched in sequence very quickly. So if you're listening now, don't like distract yourself and forget about what we're doing. The end of the year, we're going to have fireworks before the end of the year. So that's what we're working on now. And one last thing too, we're going to have a referral thing as well for spreading the browser extension around. We're going to release that shortly once that extension we've got the launch date locked in. So that will let people share it.
Can you explain the product to me, the extension, how it works? Like, what would I do? It's a VPN?
Yeah. Sorry. So I was like going real high level on the business side. So essentially, it lets any user tap into Mask Network and use it as a DVPN. Similar to how, like right now, if you want to use a VPN, you might go to one of the big players, which I don't need to give them airtime, but everyone knows the main names, the ones that spend millions of dollars in advertising and affiliates and stuff. You go on there, you download their extension, and you buy a subscription, whether it's like monthly or yearly. And essentially, you can just browse privately, turn it on with a button. And that's essentially what Mask will do. So in your browser, you download the Google Chrome extension for Mask, start it up. It looks very similar. The main panel looks just like the browser panel where you're setting up your stuff. A minute, pretty much, you're onboarded and you choose your subscription, or you can pay as you go with Mask tokens, which is the default, the model we always support. This is the one that isn't new. And then you browse privately. And you just use your normal browser, but you can be safe knowing that your IP is hidden. It's across a peer network. And again, this network's going to grow the more users we have. So anyone in the world can right now use it, but the more locations that come online as users join, the more routing we'll have, the more resilient it is, the more censorship resistant it is. And like just to share with the community like how much Mask does change lives, I still regularly get messages probably every week from people in Turkey, people in Brazil, people in Ukraine, even Russia. And they're saying, hey man, I love Mask because I can access X anytime I want. I can post, I can go to sites in DeFi and in crypto that are normally blocked or have to use lots of services. So we are making a difference, and we're only up from here. So yeah, that extension is going to make it easy.
When you start getting messages like that from people about, kind of their lives have been kind of affected, that's like a really good feeling. It's kind of working,
Oh yeah.
Let's bring up some questions from the Big O. Big O, you have any questions?
Let's do it.
I don't have questions, but I wanted to shout out Ethan. I think we met through SPX a while back, but I remember you being there. I'm Rare Drops, if you remember me. I changed my name. Yeah, I just was listening and think it's really cool to see other founders building with like fully bootstrapped, avoiding the VC game in crypto. I mean, it's nice to raise money. Sometimes it's necessary, but I think there's like, yeah, it's problematic in many ways too. The typical kind of VC raised token that has impending unlocks on top of the community and people that got in at a fraction of a penny and dumping on retail. There's a slew of things I could talk about, all the issues with that. So it's cool to see people kind of take their own path and bootstrap themselves. That's something that I'm doing too with my game I'm building, which if you don't mind, I'll talk about for like 2 minutes and then give you guys the spotlight again.
Yeah, talk about it, bro.
Sure.
Talk about it. I do remember you, bro. I do remember you from early SPX days, bro. So yeah, dude.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Go ahead. Let's hear about you.
You launched the product and everything. Admittedly, I'm yet to use it, but after this space, I promise I'll look into it and try it out. I'll let you know. Anyway. So we're building an MMORPG. If you're familiar with RuneScape, how the PvP worked in RuneScape, where you would travel north and you'd hit the wilderness, and then once you entered that wilderness area, you were in a PvP zone where it was risk-based. So in the sense that when you die, you lose your items. We're trying to replicate something similar to that, as far as like having a PvP zone where people can go into it, choose their risk, and then whoever is the victor gets the other player's items. We're trying to do that, but we're not doing like a 2D click-based game in 2024. It's an MMORPG, fully immersive 3D world. It's in the browser though, and it's sword fighting and shooting, third-person shooter. There will be, trading, banking. You can bring your own. I think one of the important features is that we don't have our own in-game currency that we're trying to shove down people's throats. That's one of the issues with a lot of crypto games that you see today. They have this kind of responsibility almost to put this token into the game and find a way to make it fit, and they force it in and it doesn't quite work, but they have these investors and people that have expectations about how they're going to make this token valuable. We're not, there's no plan for a token for us, and if we ever did do a token, it surely wouldn't be forced into the game. Basically, we're allowing people to bring their own tokens into the game. So you could bring your Send token into the game, you could bring meme coins, and these serve as the backbone of the economy. It's totally user generated. Like, people make coins out of the game, they bring them in, and that runs the economy. You can trade with other players with your coins that you already have. There's nothing that you have to buy. And yeah, we're excited about it. There's going to be skins for different communities, Mog glasses, XPX halos, cosmetic items, and it'll be a fun PvP game. Simple, but an experiment that we're excited to try out. Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good idea to have people bring their currency inside the game. What network are you going to be on? So
it's totally chain agnostic. We're supporting Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, really anything. That's kind of like the nice thing about not launching a game with a token is we have no opinion on the chain we're on. We have no opinion on the currencies you use inside of the game. So.
Mm-hmm. And are you?
I think my space is just rugged. I'm going to rejoin.
No, I don't think it's you. I think it's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he might have got rugged here. Hold on. I'll make sure he's added in.
Typical Twitter, eh?
I know, right? We get rugged somehow.
Honestly, I'll do
either by token, by bandwidth, or by space.
It happens with so many.
The big one, GG. What does GG stand for? Good game?
Good game. Yep. Good game.
The big one.
Good game.
Yeah. So everybody follow.
You're clearly not a gamer, Ethan. You're definitely not a gamer. You told us. No.
No, I'm not a gamer, bro. No, I'm not a gamer, but I have mad respect for builders. And listen, anybody that has been around SPX, I fuck with heavy, because SPX is one of the best communities in crypto. Probably top 3 to 5, I would say. Those guys are there for each other. They support one another, and they fucking hit it hard. So I have no doubt that the big one is going to continue to push. Okay, what else do we got here? We have any other questions? Anybody want to come up here and ask a question?
We got time for 1 or 2 more before we wrap up. Yeah.
I've got a question for Big One. I know you said you've got no token yet. Is that a hint at an airdrop coming for your users? Should we start playing your game in anticipation?
That's one of the things I want to avoid. I really like to see the kind of DAU or monthly active users that we get without promising any kind of token. It just skews your real retention and engagement. So there's no token planned, not now or in the foreseeable future. So I'll leave it at that.
Gotcha. Loud and clear, friend. Appreciate it.
I do want to go back to my point about, Naval says, everything will have a token attached to it. So going back to that, because I've been thinking about it all week, it's okay to have a token, and it's okay for financial incentives to be at the beginning of the launch, because you need to solve that bootstrapping phase. And how to bootstrap, and of course you can self-fund, but we're in a new world here, right? People want tokens. That they want an incentive to help grow the network, right? That's what the token's for. So to have financial incentives early on, or to add a token onto it, I would say, if the game is built already and then you add financial incentives, I wouldn't really add financial incentives now unless you have really a good plan for it. But if the game is built and you're struggling with getting users, then a financial incentives can be a good way to get users while you continue to build out the utility.
Yeah. And I don't, there's absolutely nothing wrong with launching a token first, but for us, we really want to focus and put a spotlight on the pre-existing tokens and their communities. And I think just introducing a token at this stage kind of takes away from the magic of this game is totally ran by these meme coins that kind of already exist. So that's what we really want to focus on first. And, a token isn't out of the question for us, but it's not, our bootstrapping the bootstrapping of users will happen through having a great game that everyone wants to play.
Could also be a way to gain revenue, right? So let's say you don't have a token, but you let people put their tokens in the app. So you could say, okay, if you want your token in the app, we have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 daily active users. You can add your token in the app for a fee.
Exactly. Yep.
Good stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. No, it's good to have the questions and other builders in here. Thanks for sharing what you're building, because we want this base station to be every week, and we want people to be able to share, hey, well, this is what I'm working on. This is how I'm bringing users into the space, to stay. And that's the thing. We've seen it time and time again. Chains will pop up and they'll have big incentives. And if they're not sticky with real great apps and real great products, what happens? They move to the next chain that's starting up, and they farm the chain, and then they go again and again and again. So, the more we foster base and the users come in and they stay, we all win.
Everyone, give a follow to D-Hub. Make sure you follow them. Keep an eye on any of their announcements. They said that they got their roadmap coming up by the end of Q1, so keep an eye on that. Follow the Big O, follow their game. Of course, follow Send. Make sure you're sending. If you're not sending and you haven't sent today, make sure you keep your streak alive, baby. Keep that streak alive. And Mask, what's up, man? Thanks for having this. We'll have these every Monday, or what?
Yeah, buddy. We're going to do this every week, and I'm sure this time seems to work pretty good. We got a good amount of people listening and a big mix of community members, which is awesome. If you're sending, keep sending. If you're Mask browsing, keep browsing. And if you're streaming, keep streaming on D-Hub, everybody. And if you're gaming, try out that new game. Okay, cool. Should we end it here? Yeah, man, we'll end it here. Hey, it's send to /ETH, okay? That's where we're gonna do sends from. We're gonna send the ETH. Shall we? Let's give away some send. How about we do that? Let's send. Let me. Yeah. Who do we got on here? Let's see. Who's got their send tags in their username? Tempex. We got Tempest. You send to Tempest, and I'll send to Wallix. Yep. Yeah, I looked at Wallix as well. That's Wallix with 4 X's. Yeah. Get that guy. I'm gonna send him. I got you 35,000. Send is for sending, baby. Let's get him some. Yeah, I'll send it. And put your hand up if you're a Mask community member. Maybe I'll airdrop you some Mask on base too. Sick. Shit. Let's see. We got some. Okay, I'll look for some emojis. Oh, yeah, there's a guy. All right. we'll get in touch. But yeah, it's been a good space. You know, loving the vibes. We might have you return, D-Hub. You know, to chill with us and foster our ecosystem. If anyone has any feedback, please drop us a DM or reach out to us in our channels. Maybe we'll end with everyone dropping what channels users can join to find out more about your project too. So I'll start. You know, you can jump on the Telegram, mask_AI, and remember that's mask with a Q. Hop into a Telegram or hop into our Discord, which is discord.gg/mask. That's where we do a lot of like the first announcements of the product, using the product. We've got some testers in there using it first, all that sort of good stuff. Give us a follow and pass it over to our man, Ethan at Send.
Yeah, so I'm excited, man. Just keep it up. Holidays is coming up, but we continue to send. We continue to push out this financial utility, and we continue to contributor payouts coming out on the 7th. I'm going to be looking for community members who are contributing to the ecosystem. And hopefully we can start to get some new users. As you guys know, too, on the 14th, we're going to be at the University of Aloran. Zeno is getting that together along with Ghost. So hopefully you guys can attend that. We should have some merch ready for you guys, but let's continue to send it, man. I'll see you guys.
All right, I'll grab the mic real quick if you guys don't mind. But yeah, we're mostly on Telegram over at D-Hub. So just click on the website on the link in our bio. It'll take you there. The link's all on the side, or just Telegram D-Hub official. That's where we're most active as a community. But if you go on the app itself, you'll see that it says that the core development roadmap is going to be finished, as in we've been building for the last 4 years, and all the building is going to finish by Q1 next year. So we've got a lot that's going to be starting when our real onboarding starts. We've got a bunch of huge creators going to be coming onto the app. Some we've announced already, but the biggest ones, of course, we're saving the best to the last and the most impactful for campaigns kicking off. So join us, help us build, help us finish the app. There's going to be a bunch of different uploads. Well, we've already released pay-per-views, we've already released watch to earns, we've already released exclusive uploads. But if you missed the previous watch to earns, but we're about to announce this upgrade that we pushed out recently and do some more watch to earn uploads. So you get a chance to earn some D-Hub as well, just for watching some videos on our platform. So yeah, get involved, check us out, guys, and look forward to seeing new faces in our community for sure.
Yeah, you can just go to my profile here, the big one. Feel free to follow. Might have aiming for a closed alpha by end of December. So maybe if you're lucky, you'll be able to test out the game. If you want to try out a really fun PvP game with unbridled access to crypto tokens integrated deeply into the core economy without any VC bullshit, yeah, give us a follow. Thanks.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks again, Ethan. Are you shirtless too? Are you doing shirtless dev today?
No, I was cold. I did a cold plunge in my pool, and then I was shivering, so I put a shirt on.
Oh, nice, man.
Is that bad luck? That's probably bad luck.
There, bro.
Take off my shirt.
Yeah. I was sleeveless. I'll have to take I'm only 50%.
maybe that's why my token dumped today, because I didn't have my shirt off enough.
Oh, bro, you jinxed it. Well, hey, hold strong, everybody. Use the apps you love. Share them with everyone. Share them with the people you love too. And together we all achieve more freedom, everybody. So thanks for joining. We'll see you next week at the same time, same place.
Send it, motherfuckers.
Cheers, guys. All the best.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for attending. See you guys.